Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Just Say Guay. I'm your host, George Guay. Today I'm joined by Chase Fieler, who is a German professional basketball player and also a key component of the Florida Gulf Coast Sweet 16 run back in 2013. Chase, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so where are you coming from right now? How are you been this past year? Take me through that.
Um, I'm in Bamberg, Germany, playing for Broza Bamberg. Been doing pretty good this last year, just navigating the way through professional basketball with COVID and same as everybody else trying to figure out how to live life this way.
Yeah, are they letting in fans in Germany or no?
No, we have no fans. We're still on lockdown. Restaurants aren't open.
Oh,
Stores
wow.
are open by appointment only.
Yeah, you guys are really handling it a lot different than we are here in America.
Yes,
Um,
much so.
so yeah, let's get into playing basketball in Europe. So, you played college ball in the States. How does someone end up in Europe in terms of being recruited by teams and, different countries and clubs? Because, I went to Providence College and, we had a few guys each year go overseas to Europe. How does that process work of, picking your team?
Yeah, I think for everybody that plays in the states, NBA is the goal and the dream. But that being said, there's only so many positions available in the NBA. So when you go through, you finish your career in college, you will be agents will reach out to you. You can reach out to agents, find someone that kind of knows the market in Europe, and they can figure out how you play and put you in the best situation possible. And there's a lot of faith being put on that agent, and they'll come to you with offers. They'll tell you what teams are willing to give you, what the situation is like, and for the most part, you're taking them on their word. Social media and things like that are making it easier now for guys to get in contact with past players for clubs, and so you get to know a lot more of the ins and outs of the situation from a player standpoint, not just what the agent is telling you, which is very helpful. But most of that relies on the agent you sign.
Well, it seems like your agent did a good job. I mean, you won early on in Netherlands. You won two championships. What was that like?
Oh, that was great. The city of Groningen is a student city. There's a lot of students. Um, in Europe in general, basketball is not the top sport. They have soccer, and that's going to pretty much be the main focus in most countries. And in Holland, that's no different. But the city I was in really loved basketball, and we had about a 5,000 person arena. And for my 2 years there, we sold out probably 80% of the games, and the fan base there was incredible. We played in some European competitions, so we got to play against teams from a lot of different countries, and was able to get a lot of exposure that way. But the championships was great. It gave me a lot of experience of playing in the finals, playing in that sort of environment and that sort of atmosphere at the professional level, which prepared me for later on in my career that I've experienced it in more situations.
Yeah, so the winning obviously did not stop there. You won in Belgium also. How did that experience in the Netherlands, did that help in terms of knowing how to win and bringing that to a different team?
Yeah, it definitely helped. I think it's more just nerves when you get there for the first time. You're not used to it. You're thinking so much of what happens if you don't play well or what you have to do. And once you've been there and you've excelled and played well, it kind of lets you, when you go into the next game, you can be a little bit more calm when you're in that situation again. And when I went to Belgium, there was the point guard there and the coach have been winning for years, and they really understand what is needed, and they're able to tell you exactly what you need to do. And I was able to use my experience and not getting nervous or not worrying about the moment. I was just able to go and play and have good games, and we were able to be successful there. And I think the experience in Holland definitely prepared me for that. And even my rookie year in Spain, we won the second division championship there too. And that was a 5 game series, and that one was more up and down than I've had in any of the series so far. Almost every other one of my series has been pretty cut and dry that we were winning it from game one.
Yeah, so you've been to a lot of places, played all over the place. I'm sure your passport is full of travel stamps. Has there been a favorite place that you've played so far in Europe?
Yeah, I think when I played in Panathinaikos, that gym with their fans, which are historically crazy and historically just incredible and extremely loud. That atmosphere by itself was a lot of fun. I mean, they had fireworks going on during the game, and you see nobody wearing a shirt in half the gym, and just they are entranced. They love it, and they're so dedicated to their team and just the whole game, the noise, and it was a lot of fun to play in front of and to witness.
Yeah, it must have been like a European soccer game at times.
Yeah.
So let's get back to Florida Gulf Coast before you went to Germany and Spain and all these countries. What was it like to be on a team where it was the first team in school history to make the tournament? How did that feel?
Oh, that was awesome. And that's what people forget is when we got there, that was the goal was to make it to the NCAA tournament. There was no talk of like, yeah, let's get to the NCAA tournament and win games at the beginning of the season. It wasn't until we started, we beat Miami at home that year. And even my sophomore year, the year before that, we had made a small run in the tournament. We're like, okay, that's possible. But even that whole year is, okay, we want to get to the tournament, just experience the tournament. And that is a successful season. And then we get there and it's like, okay, we're here. We might as well try to win. And I think our coaches did a good job of talking Georgetown up to be a great team, but without making it seem that they were unbeatable. And the whole time they tell us, oh, they're great at this, but we can do this. They're great at this, but we can do this. And it built a sense of victory in our minds, like we can win if we play this way. And to be the first team, I don't think any of us could even begin to understand what it meant at the time. Just to get to the tournament. And then you add the run that we made onto it. It's something that none of us to this day are just now, I think we're beginning to understand the ramifications, just how special that was.
Okay, so obviously confidence is something that you have to have. And, like your coach said, you guys install that belief of that, hey, we can do this. When the practices end and you guys show up at the games and, obviously it's full of Georgetown fans, I assume, because the game was in Philadelphia. What's another piece of that mindset that you have to have once, the practices are over and, you're here?
I think the schedule we played that year really prepared us. We had played Duke in Duke. We'd gone again into Cameron. And actually, other than an incredible run by them, where I think they went on a 30-0 run, we outscored them for, I think, 36 of the minutes of the game or something. And we played Iowa State, and we had played against these high major teams that gave us and we competed with them. And then again, like I said, we beat Miami at home, and Miami had an incredible year that year and a lot of talent. So we were confident. I think when we all got to the game, when we started warm-ups, I remember, like, I talked to Eddie Murray about it. They weren't as big as they looked on film. And I remember like looking at them, like, they seemed so much bigger. Like on video, I don't know what it was, but I was thinking, oh, they're going to come out and be 7 foot, 7 foot, 6'10", 6'11", and they were a lot closer to our size, height wise, than I expected. And I think that gave, I know for sure, Eddie and myself, and probably any of the other bigs that had to play and were worried about having to battle against these ginormous players, it gave us even more confidence. Like, okay, they're not bigger than what we thought they were.
Okay, so what I liked about that first game, I remember watching it and seeing Georgetown lose that game. And the fact that a lot of the games where the momentum shifts, it's because of the fact of big shots or big blocks. But for you guys, it was the dunks. That's why they called you guys Dunk City. Your dunk off that alley-oop, was that a moment when you guys kind of felt like you guys were going to win this game?
Yeah, I think in that moment we all felt untouchable. I mean, you watch, I'm running back yelling at the crowd. Brett's laughing as he comes back smiling, I think sticking his tongue out. Sherwood starts flexing within probably 20 seconds of that play. So that one, at that point, I think we all just felt untouchable, that there's nothing they can do to get back in this game. And I mean, they had a little run. I think we were up by close to 20 and they had hit a couple threes. We missed some free throws, but then they threw that press on. And when teams pressed us all year, that's kind of when we could get out and go. And Brett is an incredible passer. He could throw a lob from anywhere on the court. And then we had athletes just everywhere. I mean, I would run one side, you had Sherwood run down the middle, Eric McKnight, Eddie trailing, and then Bernard, who people forget how athletic he was. Literally from every position on the floor, Brett could throw a lob to anybody. And I think that was really shocking when they played us. Teams weren't expecting that, and it made it easier for us. Like I said, during that play, they were on a little run, and Brett throws a no-look lob with just over 2 minutes left when they were in the middle of coming back. And it's just, that was the confidence I think we played with. But then that also just solidified for us that we weren't going to lose that game, that we they couldn't match the way we were playing, and we could withstand the way they wanted to play it like we did in the first half.
Yeah, it was very fun to watch, and I think, like you said, that sometimes it was not expected, like the no-look lob, and made it more special. So, my last question about that game is: did it make it more possible for you guys to think that you guys could pull off the upset, knowing that a 15, I believe, upset at 2 a couple of years back, it was Lehigh against Duke?
I don't even think we really looked at that. I think our that would have been a dangerous game. We had all seen the stats. I think before us, there was only 7, maybe 16, 15 seeds that ever won. But again, I give our coaches credit. I think from infield down to Coach Fly, Marty Richard, they all were breaking down exactly what Georgetown did, but telling us how we could counter that, how we're going to take that away. And the confidence that they were showing, they didn't seem like they weren't coming into the games and kind of like, oh, let's just have fun, like enjoy the experience. It was like, yeah, we're going to enjoy it, but we can beat them if we play the right way. We can beat them if we take these things away. And I think that confidence that they were putting off did way more for us than any stat about previous teams or anything could have helped.
Yeah, that's great what your guys' coaches did for you guys in those moments. So, in order to advance in the next round, how were you guys able to not, get too high off that Georgetown win, but stay in the moment and realize, hey, we have another game that we got to win, and that you guys did ultimately win?
I think again, coaches get a lot of credit. They gave us enough leeway for us to enjoy it and be ourselves and let our personalities go, but still reining us in enough to keeping us on track of it. This isn't done yet. If we can beat the 2 seed, we can beat this next one, go to the Sweet 16. You don't. No one says like, "Oh, I made it to the round of 32." You go Sweet 16, then you go Elite 8. Those are the ones you talk about. And Coach Enfield came in after the game and he said, "Great game. On Saturday, we're going to play this game. We're going to win and go to the Sweet 16." And it wasn't a thought. He just said, "This is what's going to happen." And that confidence, it doesn't take anything away from us. He didn't try to like, all right, calm down, calm down. He almost built it up more. So we were playing when we go to that San Diego game, we're playing so free, but with so much confidence and so much energy because they did such a good job of letting us enjoy the moment, letting us go and do as much as we could, talk to people, but without telling us like, hey, you got to be serious, because we didn't play that way all year. We weren't a team that came out and just no smiles or looked mad. We were going to laugh. We were going to smile. Sherwood was going to be flexing, sticking his tongue out. Brett's going to throw crazy passes. And it's just kind of what we did. So they let us be ourselves throughout that entire run, which credit to them. I'm so thankful because it enhanced the experience for me and I think as all the other players as well.
Yeah, it's great the coaches handled it right. So, what was it like when you guys got back to Fort Myers? I mean, you guys must have felt like celebrities at school.
Yeah. It was unbelievable. To this day, there's nothing that can replicate that. I mean, I've talked to guys that played in the NBA, and I've talked to guys that have played overseas that were basically famous in their cities, and I've played in championships here and won where you go into the city and there's the parade, and nothing is like the camaraderie of a university coming together around sports. It's one of the amazing things about college sports, in my opinion. And when we came back, not only the school and everybody that was a part of that, the entire Fort Myers area, which had kind of been isolated, and FGC was one part and the city was another part, kind of all came together around this run. And then you have all the people, there's so much tourism in Fort Myers that people were coming down. Now you have an extra 200-300 people that are just on campus looking for us to try to see us, take pictures. Brett and Sherwood have a great story. They go to the bookstore go to the cafeteria on campus to get lunch, and they're just mobbed, and security had to escort them to class afterwards. And it was something that, like, you can't replicate it. It was just an incredible sense of pride for us, but also for the university. And it was so much fun and just incredible.
Yeah, that's what I like about March Madness is those schools that go on those type of runs. It really brings the whole community together, and it's bigger than the sport. So,
Mhm.
in terms of the facilities at your school and the campus and the athletic resources, could you just elaborate on those and how they allowed you guys to perform at a high level?
Yeah, I mean, the facilities were good when I was there. They've gotten exponentially better. We've had a lot of good donations. Sublets came in and helped with an entire new weight room for the university. When I was there, we didn't have a rec center away from Alico Arena. They now have that. So the students have their own basketball court and weight facility, and then the athletes have the one that's at Alico. So they've gotten so much better, and they now compete with most high majors. And it was a lot of fun this last summer. I actually got to go back and see it and see everything in person. And it's completely different from when we were there. But even when we were there, we had the training staff was always there to help us. We had great student trainers that were around. Everything that you need, we had. I mean, access to the gym, ice baths, cold tubs, recovery things. We're all there. And then again, anything, I think pretty much every Division I school, as far as helping you with school goes, the tutoring systems are very good, and we had good academic coordinators and that did that. But the facilities itself have gotten incredibly better. And when I compare it, my brother went to University of Virginia, and I'd go visit him, and I'm just looking at ACC facilities, and I would think about what I went through, we had, and it was just a big difference. But FGCU, I think it's, when I was there, and I think a few years after, it's been the largest growing public school in the country, and they've done a really good job of building the sports up and helping the athletics keep par with the other Division I's and compete on the facility level.
Yeah, that's great. They're making those changes, and it's going to lead to more success. So my last question, when you're watching the tournament now and these past few years, what's it like seeing those type of teams that go on the runs that like you guys did, whether it's a UMBC with the upset over Virginia or Loyola Chicago, or even seeing Oral Roberts take down Ohio State? What's it like seeing that from your perspective now?
It's a lot of fun because for us, we can relate so much to it. We were able to do it, and we know exactly the emotions that are going through it for them, what it's going to be like when they return to school. And then for me, I know what that's going to mean when they play overseas, when they continue their careers. Even if they don't, it's always something. Once March rolls around, you're going to get to talk about it. All the memories are going to come up on your social media. People are going to remember it, and it's such an incredible part of your life. And most athletes that play in university, they're so connected to their school, and then you do a run like this that connects the school to you as well. So anytime that school has success, it's going to bring back, all right, they're going to compare, and they're going to bring back this, and you're always going to have a legacy at your university based off of that run that you did. And I think as you get away from it more and the longer it goes, you start to really understand and respect what happened and how important it was. And you can feel that these kids, when they're doing it, they don't know exactly how big of a deal it is, and it's just going to continue to set in the older they get.
Yeah, that's a great answer, and it seems like this is the year where that's happening more often in the tournament. I'm excited to see what happens tomorrow with the tournament resuming. Chase, thanks for coming on my show, and we'll stay in touch, man.
Yep, sounds good. Thank you for having me.
Have a good one.